Check 1, 2. Just have to wait a second. That works. Check 1, 2.
Right, hear me all right? Let's see if we can get everybody from inside to come on in, outside to come inside. We're good? All right. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming tonight and being a part of this special ceremony. I want to welcome you to the 2022 Fred I. Dickerson Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We have some Board of Trustee members here, our president's here. We have a lot of distinguished guests here. And certainly we have the honorees and their families and their friends and our young men who play on our team currently. To fully understand the impact of this 2009 team, I want to share a few stories with you that kind of rings home that have really honestly surfaced in the last 2 months. It kind of makes it even more apropos that we're here tonight. I got a text message probably about a month or so ago from the athletic director of the University of Mount Olive. He had taken a picture. He was at the Carolina Courage women's soccer game there in Raleigh. And sitting in front of him was a kid wearing the gray sweatshirt that's sitting out there on one of the high tops. It says Lees-McRae men's soccer. And on the back, talks about that run. The regular season, the postseason, the NCAA tournament. Guys, that's a long time ago since that t-shirt was even made. 13 falls since that season. Richard Guffins, as many of you guys know who played on that team, came here a couple weeks ago. He was traveling around and wanted to stop by the gym. The emotions, much like some of you have had, flooded back immediately as he saw the trophy case, the locker room, the newly turfed tape field. The memories may fade away as time goes by, but the bonds created and the incredible experience will never be taken away. Our former tennis coach was in town last weekend, and he called me. We met over at Tape Field. We talked about that night you guys played Flagler. It was chilly. Jamie hit the shot with about 10 minutes into the game, and then we played defense for the next 80. And the bank was packed, much like it was this afternoon. And we had the coaches come down and open up the gates. And we had every student on this campus rush the field. You guys were heroes. You were heroes that night. Move it to where I can see it a little better. You were young men then. Look at you now. Husbands and fathers, successful in the game of life. We have some of the top Division II soccer coaches in the room tonight from that team. Put that into perspective, folks. Tonight has been a long time overdue, and I'm grateful for your patience with us to make sure that we did this right, to fully celebrate the accomplishments of Coach Wally and Coach Benfield, the athletic training staff of Z and Joe, and you, the players who wore the uniform and took the campus on an incredible ride. I shared a little bit of the story with some of you guys today. The semifinal game. You remember that? 6 minutes to go, down 2-0. I'm calling my travel agent to see if I can get on a plane and come back. We watched a campus go bonkers. They watched it in here. They watched it in the athletic training room. The penalty kicks, everybody screaming and running around. I got a phone call from a guy named Tommy Brigham that night. He said, find a way to get him on a bus. I said, Tommy, who are you talking about? He goes, the student body. Find a way, get him on a bus. So we called a charter company, and we had 60 kids get on a bus that night, drove through the night, and met y'all in Tampa for that championship game. You captivated a campus, you captivated a community. You made us all feel so special. That ride, much like everything else, was magical. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to recognize you tonight and others who made Lees-McRae a nationally known program. I want to wish you thank you and congratulations. It's my privilege and honor to talk about somebody who has truly given us a great ride over the last several years. Lees-McRae, as you saw today, is a much different place than where it was when you played. From the turf field, gym floor. You've heard about the USDA loan. You've heard about the acquisition of the property of grandfather. Our trajectory, our president's vision, and where we're headed is simply because of Dr. Lee King. I'm grateful for him to take time out of his life and schedule tonight to come say a few words on behalf of the athletic department and certainly Lees-McRae College and our campus community. Dr. King.
Thank you, Craig, for that great introduction. It is a pleasure to be here tonight to honor this special team. And one of my big regrets as I've learned about you all is the fact that I wasn't here in 2009 to see this magical run and how you unified this community, how you unified the campus, and how you became heroes here in the Western Mountains. Teams are very special groups of people. There's no tighter bond that can happen between, especially championship teams. They're just like elite military units because you have been through the battle and you've been tested by fire and you have bonded and you've connected. And those bonds and connections will always be with you. I was impressed when I walked in the door this evening and saw a group of this team standing there together, and you could see their camaraderie and their bond. I hope your wives and your significant others have learned to put up with that this weekend as you all are together, and to only believe a certain percentage of the great stories I know that are being shared around. And I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the time and fellowship. As Craig mentioned, we are proud of you. We are proud of not only how you represented Lees-McRae College in that great run in 2009, but how you represent Lees-McRae College today. There's no better honor than being a good man and a good father and a good husband and contributing to the society in all the ways that you do. And thank you so much for continuing to make the Bobcats proud as you go out and do that. I want you to know we need you guys to continue to still be involved. Craig mentioned the wonderful things that we've got going on at Lees-McRae. All of those things are happening because the good Lord is looking down on us in a very favorable way. But we've got a team that's rowing together in the same boat, that's working to make sure that this institution thrives and that we achieve everything that we're capable of achieving. But this group of young men over here to the left side of the auditorium constantly needs you all to be involved again and continue to support the soccer program and make a difference in their lives. I look forward to seeing you come across the stage tonight. Thank you so much for your investments that you gave Lees-McRae, and we're proud to honor you tonight. Take care, guys.
It's a great honor to be here tonight. Over the last few years, while I've been the head coach here, getting to hear the stories and getting to meet our alums has been truly a special thing. From sharing the great comeback to the trip to the memories to sharing the stories about Michael Shope and his family and what they mean here. And to truly take this program and unite you all has been a very special thing. We enjoyed having you all on campus today. We truly do have a great group of young men that we love and is a true family here, and we hope will continue to make you proud. I'd like to lead us in a prayer as we get started tonight and move through our ceremony. Dear Lord, thank you so much for the memories, for the young men that we have had in our program and the young men we have now, and for those families who have come and gone. Lord, thank you for everything you have given all of us, the faith you have in all of us, and the blessings you've given us. Lord, please continue to bless everyone here, including our alums, their families, and our current roster. God, we all know how special a place Lees-McRae is, and we thank you for everything you've done for us. In your name, amen. Next up, Lee Squires from that team will be making a few remarks.
Appreciate you. I might need help getting down. Anyone else sore? Struggling. I remember the very first time I was on this stage with a microphone. It was very different. I was a freshman at Relay for Life singing Backstreet Boys with Dale. I promise I'm not going to do that tonight. Nobody wants to hear that. But 2009 was definitely a special year for everybody involved. I remember we lost both preseason games. So it wasn't the best start. Everybody's panicking, thinking we're not that good. But the boys throughout the regular season, blitzed it. Absolutely steamrolled through everybody and got ourselves in a position where I think we were number 1 seed. We got to play at home a lot. And I think the NCAA tournament run itself pretty much summed up us. It was not straightforward. It was very interesting, often difficult. The first game against Wingate finished 6-3. That never happens in a national tournament game. We played at Avery County High School because obviously there was a blitz outside and we couldn't play because of the snow, so we needed a turf field. Second game against Anderson, I think we're 2-1 up maybe with a minute to go or something, and their goalkeeper scores. That never happens. And then we won in overtime. Tampa were beaten as soon as they got off the bus. They didn't like the freezing cold. We knew we had that game. We scored early, and that was that. And then Lewis, we were, as Craig mentioned, I think 2-0 down with 5 minutes to go. And that's 99% of the time game over. We came back, won on penalty kicks, got through to the final. The final still irritates me all these years later that we lost. Having put so much effort in to get there, to be in that moment and not come through. I think that's just the competitive side of all of us that we look back and we lost. For one of the very, very few times that season, we lost the game. So that's still an irritant, but a fantastic experience nonetheless. I do remember my wife Sadie, Dale's wife Hope, and 50 other people jumping on a bus, driving 10 hours down there, watching the game, and literally driving the 10 hours back. It really felt like at that national final, there was Bobcat Bank right there in the stadium with us. I remember a lot after that national final, probably stories for later on tonight, not right now. But it's not just, I'll go back, it's actually hard to quantify the achievement, because when you're in it, like we'd done so well in 07, 08, and then 09 came along. It just expected that we wanted to win. And only now that I've coached at this level for the 12 years since I graduated in 2010, that you can really put into context the magnitude of what we did. My teams at Lander have been pretty good, but we've only ever got as far as the Elite 8. This tiny school in the middle of nowhere got to a Final Four and a national championship. So only now do you really appreciate the magnitude of what we were able to achieve. So I don't think we realized it too much at the time, but we certainly, I think, realize it now. But it's definitely not just that. I'll say 2009 on the plaque and in the Hall of Fame or whatever, but it's certainly not just the 2009 team that this tremendous honor's for. Les Broussard, in your group in the 80s and 90s as a junior college and transitioning into a 4-year school, laid the foundation, started the traditions, gained the momentum. All the way through the late 90s, early 2000s, the Debsies, the Diegos, all you boys back there, laying that foundation for, we just happened to be the team in 09 that got there. Everybody else before that, the Michael Shopes, the traditions, the history, that was all in place. We just kind of took it on a different level. But it's not also just before 2009, after 2009, the players that were recruited off the back of that success to the current guys now. This honor's for everybody, from the training staff to the teachers who helped to keep Bora eligible somehow, to Did you graduate, Bora? You graduated? Yeah. But it's for everybody. The athletic training staff, the administration, to Craig, who's massive support, to the teachers, to the Bobcat faithful who's always on the bank cheering. Who are we, LMC? Just absolutely fantastic. I have to mention Wally and Jay. You're responsible for that entire roster being put together. Certainly helped shape and change my life, and I think you had that impact on a lot of people. More than just a coach, more than just a coaching staff, especially up here in this little bubble up in the mountains. You really felt like it was a bond and a brotherhood. And in the end, Lees-McRae is small in size, but it's massive in heart, it's massive in togetherness, it's massive in commitment to one another, and that's what carried us through. We were thankfully better at soccer than our singing, but it's up to you guys, the incoming freshmen, the guys returning next year. It's up to you guys to carry on the legacy. So thank you to everybody. If we can achieve it, you guys can, and thank you to everybody for putting this together. It's special, so thanks. Dale? I might need help. Here he is. There you go, mate.
Oh, please, Miss Ria. I need some help getting up there. Oh, my word. Where's Joe when you need him? All right, I guess I'll give you all the option, since Squidge brought it up. I have a speech somewhere. Hopefully I didn't forget it. We can do a Backstreet Boys rendition, or I can read what I've got written down here, so I'll let you guys decide. I don't think I can do the dance moves though tonight, so I'm going to have to stick with the speech. I had to write all this down and script everything that I was going to say, purely because I didn't want to forget anything. And I also, when I get going, I could probably talk for a while, so I want to try and keep this 3 to 5 minutes. So I'm going to script it for the most part, but I'll try and add a bit of personality to it. So firstly, I want to thank everyone in attendance for sharing this honor with us tonight. It's amazing, continuously amazing to see how much this team and the program continues to bring people together from all over the world, from so many different backgrounds. I'd like to take a moment to recognize all the players that couldn't be in attendance tonight. Some of those are some of our best friends, lifelong, people who are in my wedding, people that I see whenever I go back home to England and wherever they're from in the world, and it's just such a shame that they couldn't be here tonight, so hopefully they're watching the stream and they feel that they're part of it as well. I also want to thank all the players that contributed to the years leading up to 2009. Many of you in the room tonight, massively important to the success that we had, and this is, although it says 2009, like Squidge said, it's for all of us that were part of that era, and that's, as I'll get to later on, that's one of the best things about tonight. Lastly, none of us would be in this position today if not for Chris Wally, and obviously Jay that year, but Wally's work goes without saying, how much he did for us, and the gratitude I've got for you and what you did for all of us is immense, so thank you very much. As for the 2009 season, where do I start? I remember reading after the Final Four, there was a news article that said, "The miracle in the mountains." And And that might have been what other people felt about the program and about that year, but I can guarantee you that is not how we felt. Like Squid just mentioned there, we felt like we should have won it, and we were never at any stage, from the players' perspective, did we feel surprised to be in any position that we were in, which tells you a lot about the culture that we had and the expectations that we put on ourselves, because we knew we had the quality to do that. In 2007, we advanced the Elite Eight with arguably, and we have this discussion quite a lot, with arguably one of the best teams in the country, one of the best teams in program history in 2007. We fell short on Tate Field with a younger, inexperienced team. And among that team, there was Sean Paradise in goal, myself at centre-back, Bora was up front, Lee was up front, and Dylan was in that squad as well. And it's just so fitting that 2 years later, in the same round, on the same field, those same players were on the right side of the result, heading to the Final Four. And it was such an amazing feeling. I know, I remember some of the guys just almost a little bit in shock, but at the same time, like, we deserved to be there. But that night in particular, the Elite Eight night that Mr. McPhail brought up earlier on, Tampa came into town, and they were the hosts of the Final Four. And as Squish just alluded to, there was only going to be one winner from that game. From the moment they got off the bus, it was snowing that week, something that we're unbelievably used to. And I think we were training the night before the game, and we had a heavy snowfall, and they were coming on after us, and we were taking our shirts off as we were walking back to the building. And they were coming out, and they were looking at us like, what are we doing here? These guys are mental, absolutely mental. And that was the case. And Jamie Bladen, he's not here tonight, but his wonder strike was the difference that night and fired us into the Final Four. But my favorite memory of my whole time at Lees-McRae was turning around to look at the scoreboard, and there were 6 seconds on the clock. I was hoping that was going to be the case the whole alumni game today. But there were 6 seconds on the clock. And having experienced what we did against Anderson when the goalkeeper came up for a throw-in in the Sweet 16, and he scored with about that much time left on the clock. So there's 6 seconds on the clock. I'm looking behind me, and I'm not convinced that we've won this game. And then very quickly, the ball, the ball never came back in play. And I'll keep turning around. It goes to 5, goes to 4, and then you start realizing we're going to the Final Four. And I remember sprinting to Paradise. And he squeezed me, he's from Florida. He's like, I'm going home, and he's squeezing the life out of me, And I'm just screaming. I can't remember what I was screaming, but we felt like we lifted the ghost from 2 years prior, which was a great feeling. But then very quickly, within seconds, as Craig mentioned earlier, the gates were open, and the field was just swarmed. And the people in the crowd, there were players from previous years. A lot of you guys were there at the game, which meant so much to us. Friends, girlfriends, future wives. And just sharing that moment with us, which was just an incredible moment. And as we all know, the magic continued in the semi-finals with Sean's penalty saves and Grant scoring and Squid scoring in the semi-final. Not one of my proudest moments as an individual player, that semi-final, but thankfully, I had the teammates to back me up that day, and they bailed me out, thank goodness. But I will tell you another quick story. At 2-0 down, my wife, Hope, who's sitting there in the red dress, she still claims to this day that she was one of the group that piled down to the front to try to cheer us on. We're 2-0 down, like sympathy. It's the last game for some of us. And she claims all the responsibility for that glory, for getting the fans to rally us and scoring those 2 late goals. And she'll never deny that either. Unfortunately, it all ended in tears in the championship game, and it is something that I think about almost every day, especially now being a coach, being a head coach of a group that we have aspirations to do that. And it's so hard to go into conversations with my current team and not think of those moments as a player. And how, looking back, as Squidge alluded to, it's so difficult to get back there. But at the time, we didn't think that. We thought we were supposed to be there, which again is a testament to our character. To finish off, one of the great things about this tremendous honor is that we get to share it. We share it as a team, we share it as friends, and we also get to share it with everybody that was on that journey with us. The hundreds of fans that journeyed to Tampa, I remember Statsy's family all there in orange, which is fantastic. Just an amazing thing to see. They've flown from Holland to be there at the Final Four. You know, the staff that supported us, former players that laid the foundations, we all get to share it. And that's what makes this team in particular and this program really, really special. So thank you very much for this tremendous honor. It certainly means the world to me. Yeah, enjoy the rest of the evening. Thanks. Don't worry, I'll walk to you.
I'll probably stand to the side so you can see me. Firstly, Squidge, Dale, thank you so much for what you said. Craig, obviously the president of the university, thank you for your kind words as well. It means a lot to obviously be here. I'll probably cry. But no, it means a lot to me. It's a special place. And I'm not just talking about Lees-McRae, I'm talking about this town, the people. Really excited. Obviously, I have Shane and your group here. Thank you for your support today. It does mean a lot. I was married in this town. I think one of my kids might have been conceived in this town as well. But anyway, too much info. But it's a special, special place, and it's a special university. 7 years of my life I spent here, and there were 7 of the best years, for sure. In terms of, the boys have said so many things, and I've had notes on my phone, and now my phone's turning off. So, what a beast here. What a disaster. But no, in terms of what these guys have said, I'll talk briefly about the year, and then try and go on from there. But I think Squidge mentioned it. We didn't win a game in pre-season. We were supposed to be one of the best teams in the country, and we didn't win a game in pre-season. Probably one of the reasons why might have been the player revolt that we were going to have, because, and Craig and I talked about this time, the school was not in a good place. I think we all took pay cuts. I remember sitting in Craig's office with our old basketball coach, Scott, and talking about how we could feed the guys in pre-season. We ended up going to NASCAR races at Bristol 3 days in a row, and the guys hated me. They hated me anyway, but they hated me more for going to 3 NASCAR races in 3 days. And we ultimately had to do all of these things just to make ends meet. And I remember pleading with the guys. I remember, boy, you saying, what are we doing, God? And I was like, Bora, we cannot afford to eat if we don't do this. I know you did. I know you hated me. And it was so hard. But I do honestly think those were the things that, they forged us, and that's how we became so strong. I remember I think it was 0-0 King at home, first game of the season. And I think I've gone in at half-time. I was like, we've lost both games in pre-season. The guys hate me. What's going on here? And Bladen scored a worldie. I think it dropped out of the sky, and it was at the tennis court's end. He's hit a worldie. I think we won 4-0. I was like, we might be all right. And then we won another game, and we couldn't stop winning. And we got hot, and we were good. We were good. Squidge, probably one of the best goal scorers. I'm sure will be a Hall of Famer here in his own right. Didn't play until later on in the season. We had 2 All-Americans, when Bora and Guffins, and we're bringing an All-American striker off the bench. We got so lucky. But in the same respect, we worked really, really hard as well. And I think about the conference tournament. I remember we didn't win the conference tournament this year, and Jay Benfield, great assistant, was the most emotional person I've ever seen, was in tears. It's over, it's over. In the beautiful faculty apartments. Are they still called faculty apartments? Student apartments. They were fantastic back then. I'm sure they're lovely now. But Jay was mortified. We're done. It's over. I was like, Jay, we're number 1 in the country. It's okay. We'll keep playing. No. It's okay. Anyway, we're number 1 seed and we go in. But then in the postseason, I remember kind of screwing with the guys a little bit, and we'd steal socks, so there wasn't enough pairs of socks. And the socks were terrible at that time as well. They had holes in them, and I started cutting more holes in them. So guys would get there early to get the better socks. And trust me, the better socks weren't that good. But it was tough. I remember the guys fighting in in post-season practices, going into the NCAA tournament. But that's the group we had. And it was great. And I loved it because they wanted to win so much. And they loved each other. And they could fight on the training field. But then after the training field, they'd be best friends again. And I do think it was those sorts of things that ultimately got us through those difficult days. And the difficult days were Anderson's goalkeeper taking his stupid hat off and scoring with 6 seconds to go. Like, oh, how demoralising that was. Duffy and his Wakefield accent, it's over. I remember that. And it wasn't. And we scored. And then I remember being 2-0 down. It was. And I thought it was over 2-0 down. I'd quit by then. And we put Grant Elder on for his long throw, and he didn't even get to take a long throw, but he scored. And then Squidge bobbled one in. It's 2-2. I was like, oh, we've got a chance still. I remember the penalties. I remember ball where they tried to change their goalkeeper. And I think you had to wait like 2 or 3 minutes to take a penalty. It was crazy. But that was our group. I don't think we were perfect. We definitely weren't PC, but we were special. And I think that's what really sums up this group. I think the big thing about this group that I want to talk about is this, and Squidge and Dale have nailed it. It's not about 09. It's about the groups before that. We went through some difficult things. You know, my first year as a head coach is something I'd never wish on anybody. But we went through dealing with Michael, and that was hard. Special. But hard. Football matches. Yeah, it matters. Of course it does. I was upset today when we lost to you guys, as you probably knew. But things matter more. And I think as a group, we grew from that. And we realized people are more important. We didn't have anything. Duffy and Statsy, I was telling you guys today, Statsy talks about it all the time, obviously at our program now. They've got so much gear, they've got this, they've got that. Our training kit was horrendous. It was camp shirts. I bought 25 more camp shirts from summer camp, and we had cotton camp shirts. I was looking at a picture a few minutes ago there. I think those Adidas training shirts were 7 years old, and we're playing in the national final. But it doesn't matter. People matter. People matter. And that's what I think was really, really special about this group. So for me, for everybody who helped me over 7 years I was here with Adrian for 2, and the 5 I was here as a head coach. The Debsies, Seba for the 3 weeks you were here. Rocky a semester. All the guys that helped us build it, we were good. I'll be honest, like the 07 team should probably go in. 08 team should probably go in. You know, Sweet 16, Elite 8, pretty special teams. 09, we didn't win the conference tournament. We got beat. That was when Jay was having his meltdown. So, we had some very, very special teams over that period of time, but it's the people that built those teams. But I just want to thank a few more people before I leave, and it's people that I think sometimes maybe are forgotten. Joe Hawkins isn't here, right? Joe, what a guy. Best trainer ever, right? No disrespect, Rita, is he? But we loved him. Joe was brilliant. What a guy. Reed Estes. Reed took a punt on a cocky, arrogant 23-year-old with really good English teeth for some reason. But it worked. I think, Craig, you were important in that. You know, we were talking earlier, we used to work out of a trailer. I see the building now on campus and all the things you're doing. It's brilliant. Our trailer was rubbish. It was freezing. I remember wearing jackets and gloves. Typing in gloves isn't easy. Now, internet wasn't as important back then, but it was cold in that trailer. But we made it work, and that was what was kind of fun. But Reed gave me a chance. Craig supported us along the way. You know, Miss Reed, of all the people, as you know, I think Lee talked about it, the guys who kept Borough eligible, all those people along the way made a massive difference. I think, where are you, Shane? I think you've done more in terms of connecting the alumni than any coach since I've been here. Way better than myself. Way better than myself. I think you've done a fantastic job. I do think I did one thing pretty well, and I think I got the community behind us. And it was our team. It wasn't Lees-McRae's. It was Banner Elks. And even people from Boone, because App State were rubbish then as well. They wanted to come and be part of it. and everybody loved it. I remember we used to have to put cones out on Bobcat Bank because Les needed his special spot, okay? And all the guys, the Giarussos and Tony, they all wanted their special spot, and it became a special thing. So that, last couple of people I wanted to mention. Give me a sec. Was Les. Thank you. And for a lot of you guys who are new, you don't know a guy called Tony Cato. The boys do. We used to have him at there. We'll put jackalopes all the time. We had a great time up there. And he was a fantastic man. And he was, I can't think of the book they call about it, but he was a connector. He connected so many people with his program. He didn't go to Lees-McRae. Sorry about that. I don't think he did. Where did he go to college? Tony, I don't know. He got kicked out of college for opening a bar in college. Yeah, that kind of sums this guy up. But he was a great guy. He was a guy. But what he did, his kids came to our camps, and he was friends with Les and myself, and he's one of my best friends. And he passed away a few years ago, and he would have loved to have been here tonight. But he got so many people in this community connected to us, and he was very, very generous with his time, with his resources, and he helped make this group what it was. I remember being up there and spending some special times with him, and I remember, knowing I was going to the Final Four. I remember going up there with you, Les. Special time. So, thanks everybody. Sorry I've been emotional. I might have gone more than 5 minutes. I think you'll forgive me maybe. But it's a special place. It's a special town. It's a very, very special school. Really pleased with all the things you guys are doing. I'm really excited about the growth of this university. It is a university, right? College. Apologies. Thank you so much for everything. I wish you all the best. I'm sure you're going to have a great evening. Thank you so much.
And now I get to follow Wally again. It is my privilege as a Hall of Fame, Fred I. Dickerson Hall of Fame inductee, to welcome you boys and Z to the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It's a privilege, and I'm very proud of all of you. I am very thankful that I was here when you had the big run. I've been here for every soccer team since we added it in 1985. I'm not old yet, though. So, as I call your name, please come to the stage, receive your formal induction handshake from Craig, and we will proceed. Jamie Bladen, I don't believe is here, but congratulations, Jamie. Baron Borachik. He's still learning. Adam Burden. Luke Duffy. All these guys hobbling up. Do you need help? Congratulations. Grant Elder. Ignacio Falco. Iggy. Jared Flaherty. Richard Guffins. Alex Hall. Matt Karras. Sam Kennedy. Dylan Lawrence. Logan Linton. David Palmer. Sean Paradise. Dale Parker. Hobble on up. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Luke Perry. Jamie Price. Luke Statz. Lee Squish Squires. That's right. Congratulations. Rico Trott. Jacob Wilson. Coach Jay Benfield. Coach Chris Wally. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Athletic trainer Joe Hawkins. And last but not least, Jacqueline Z. Roguska. Athletic training student.
One last round of applause for those young men. as we look to conclude this event, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for making this place special. For many of you, it's home. It will always be home. Where memories of growing up as an 18-year-old young man playing a game that you've played all your life, formulated an education and a bond with the other groups of guys in one of the most unique places on earth. It will always have a very special treasure to each one of us. To Les, to Rita, to Wally, to Jay, to Lee, and everybody else, and all those who are watching back home. Lees-McRae will always have that magnetic appeal. And it could be the stories such as Wally forged of how we came together as a community with nothing but each other. As you leave tonight, realize that we are together. We will always be together. Ed and Tama, thank you so much for being here tonight. To Dr. Katie Talbert, who this would not have been possible without her help. She is a rock star if you don't know it. She is an unbelievable alumni relations person, but she makes events like this be the class that they are. To this group of guys, you've seen what it takes. I need your focus to be on the very best you can be every day. And I don't mean at 3 o'clock on the newly turfed Tate Field. I mean when you wake up in the morning and you make the choice to either stay in and press snooze and don't go to class or don't go get breakfast. Everything is a commitment towards each other. It's real simple. To you guys, I can't say thanks enough. Who you've become, what you've become, and how you continue to come back. You're a testament to a good coach in a program that held you accountable. Whether you liked it or not, the reality is you are much better because of it. To everyone else, thank you so much for a very special day, weekend, and opportunity to celebrate in this team, this campus, and this community. I wish you all to behave tonight as best you can. I wish you to have a lot more celebrations tonight. Congratulations, thank you, and good night.